So athletes are typically looking for ways to get ahead in their profession, how they can improve their performance. But they take nutrition and they take training very seriously, but they tend to neglect how they move and how they apply themselves to the techniques of their sport. So you'll often get injured athletes starting to seek out an Alexander Technique teacher. It'd be better if we could get to them the Alexander Technique before they had the injuries. But most athletes find Alexander Technique lessons a real eye-opener. They've never considered whether they run efficiently or use themselves efficiently. They've usually picked up a sport at an early age and assume that what they're doing is the best way to do with it. So an Alexander Technique teacher will work with them away from their sport to begin with, and just basic body movements. Your hips articulate from this point. This is where you can move and turn your head. And you give them an experience of a different way of moving without the effort they associate with their everyday activities, like getting in and out of a chair, standing, bending, walking. Then see them take it into their sports activities, start to notice things they've been doing that have not helped, such as stiffening the neck and tightening the back. So there's a great podcast interview with Roy Palmer, an Alexander Technique teacher in England, talking with Robert Rickover. So often, for instance, a golf coach won't see the things that an Alexander Technique teacher will see, such as whether or not the athlete is tightening his jaw, lifting his shoulder. So a golf coach will likely say something like, relax your shoulders. That instruction is not likely to be useful. If the golfer were able to relax his shoulders at will, he'd be doing it. So telling someone to relax his shoulders is not usually a useful strategy. They're more likely to interpret it as a collapse or to pull the other way. So a big advantage of the Alexander Technique is it's a prevention strategy of seeing a particular pattern and teaching this pattern is not helping the movement, and working out a way that the student can say no to this unnecessary pattern of unnecessary tension and compression. And when you look at the greats in athletics, they tend to exhibit grace and efficiency and ease and poise. So Roger Federer, the tennis player, Muhammad Ali, particularly in his early years, famous for being so agile on his feet. And someone like Roger Federer rarely looks like he's panicking. And if you look at ice skaters, typically the best ice skaters are the ones with the freest neck and the least unnecessary compression. So one of the telltale signs of performance-limiting habits is this tendency to tighten the neck as the athlete goes into performance, or tightening the jaw, because then you're interfering with your head-righting mechanism. So Alexander Technique is a good way of getting into the here and now, the first stage to getting into the zone where everything is so much easier. Everybody knows state of mind is key to peak performance. People who are best at their sport, they seem to do it so freely and easily. So do you look like that when you're participating in sport, or are you trying too hard? Because if you're trying, you're wasting effort, said Bruce Lee. So what do people do when they're told to try harder? Most people will grit their teeth, clench their jaw, tighten their necks, furrow their brows, and all these things inhibit superb performance rather than help. So think about, when was your best performance? Was it difficult or easy? And almost everyone will say it was easy. If your best performances feel easy, that's because you're not doing half as much as you think you need to.